Okay, I'm back, and I'm just taking a look at this other model that oh, I can't remember the name of the guy. I'll have to get back on Discord, and I'll find his name, and I'll be sure to post it into the comments because I feel like that I should know who I'm working with here, especially if I'm talking about putting out this on the internet. And okay, anyway, I'm not so sure if what he did was use alpha transparent textures. He said what he was doing was just making textures with GIMP or something like that, but these kind of look like default Blender textures. And I see for the lights, he's got that painted to look like glass. But I'm going to kind of go with the same idea. I've never tried to use an alpha texture from GIMP. I'm going to just use the default Blender material for that, and I'll texture everything else. Okay, so I've got lights here. Now those aren't separate, right? I can't see. I really wish it would have been nice if he actually let me just have the model file, but that's okay. This'll do, because I'm not sure whether or not these lights are part of that cab, which he's got selected, or if they're kind of like a model just floating. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm starting to render or model up like something else. We've got, let's see what else we need to do here. Other parts we're gonna need, looks like a men's room. Whoa. No, we were on the right side here. It's a men's room, and I'm guessing that's a water cooler. Woman's room. That'll be funny, putting in toilets. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to look up what this water cooler looks like. I want it to be accurate, fairly accurate. And we've got steps coming up in the door. Okay, so what I'm going to do, like what I was getting at in the beginning, I'm going to come over here, just round cut, come down here, and I'm going to make this cut at the, well, first we can just bring these panels out. That'll be nice and easy. So I'm going to make another round cut. I'm going to slide this down. I'm going to just do one at a time. I'll do that here. And we'll just make 2 panels on the side instead of going with, because this looks like it's got kind of 3. So actually, to make this a lot easier, what I'm going to do is cut it down the middle. And I'm going to deselect rather. And I'm now going to select these ones. I'm going to hit the X button, and I'm going to delete the vertices. And you can see that's cut my model in half. Now, I changed my mode, press tab again, come back over here and add a modifier. And we're going to add a mirror modifier. Now you can see that that's mirrored exactly what we have, so we only have to work on one side. But the thing is that it's not attached. So now if I hit the A button, that'll select everything. I can move this around and make a big huge mess out of everything if we don't really know what we're doing right. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to go back where we were, and I'm going to enable this clipping option on the side. Right here's where you can see your modifiers are added in. Okay, I guess that's something I should have explained earlier. Okay, this panel here we have our scene, which has all of the information we need to make our pictures with. Basically, we can work in different layers, so that way we can hide certain objects if they're in the way of what we're trying to model, and all sorts of really cool things. This is the master control panel essentially for the scene, for the world, for your object, for any constraints that you want to add onto your objects as far as things going animation wise and everything like that. Okay, we're working with our modifiers. You can assign vertex groups. I'm not sure what the shape keys are for, and UV mapping and vertex colors, which I think is for using vertex painting with. So you can make all of these different types of groups basically to kind of make all of the steps a lot easier. This is your materials, which is essentially going to be what the model is colored in. We'll get into that later. These are going to be your textures, which will actually add depth and texture to your material. Okay, then you have particles. You can emit hair or particles. And then you have physical attributes as well. So you can use smoke now easily. It used to have to be done with particles, but now they have kind of like a quick smoke simulation, which is kind of nice. Although kind of having a little bit of a hard time with it in cycles, but that's a totally different thing. You can make cloth, which is nice. You can do all sorts of really cool things with this force field one. And all different kinds of other things. So anyway, we're working over here with our mirror modifier, and we've got it on clipping. So now I'm just going to zoom in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this in just until it touches the other mesh. Right? Now you can see what that does. Instead of going past it, it joins into it and allows us to fold it into itself. So as soon as we have our contact, that's exactly where we want it. We're going to turn clipping off, and we're just going to stretch this right back out where it was. And now we have, oh, call me a liar. Okay, excuse me. We're going to turn clipping back on. And there, yeah, we're just going to leave that. Okay. We don't want to apply the modifier yet because we want to finish it until save that until it's finished. So now we're going to work with it like this, and we're just going to have to remember not to move it. There was a way. No, I just don't know what I'm talking about. It's been a while since I've modeled anything. About a month actually since I did my introduction video. Like I said, I only do this on the side as a hobby. I just really like to do it, and I really want this train mod to be awesome. So I'm going to undo that extrusion. I'm going to select these, and I'm going to make sure that this isn't too far out. Okay, so see again. Middle mouse button, getting rid of that. See again. Whoops. Because we want to select all of them. You can see it selected this entire side because they're all perfectly in line. E to extrude. And I'm going to pop that out. And now I'm going to take all of these, left click with the C button. And I'm going to just scale with S on the Z just slightly to get that lined up as close as we can to matching. It's not perfect, but it doesn't really have to be. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same trick right up here at the top. What is that little thing? Is that another panel? Let's not go back to the desktop guy. Yeah, this just kind of seems like it's a strip going down. You know what? I'll just add that on my texture, I think. Alright. I don't know. If I did these panels, I should do that strip. I don't want to add too many, vertices in here, considering that it's Minecraft. So, Control R to round cut. Again, mouse wheel up, left click. And I'm going to just put it right about there. It looks centered. Scale S and then Z for the Z axis. And I'm going to just G for grab, Z or Z, and C, middle mouse, and bring this out. That looks okay, because that's what it looks like here. So we're just going to kind of go with that. Now we've got the basic shape of our train. It's nothing fancy yet, but it will get there. This is just the shell after all. Alright. Now, what we really want to do is, you know what, I could have done an array and half of a window. I might do that. I'm not sure. Let's get this height on the luggage compartment taken care of before I do any further thinking and decide to start getting sidetracked. We don't need to do that. What we're going to do is just come back to the top view and we're going to find where our dimensions are here for our baggage cart. Okay, the right view works for that. Okay, C again. I'm going to scale X, or whoops, scale Y. We're on the green one. Make that just about the size we want. Now grab Y. And now you can see that it's a little bit larger because we scaled it for this. So we just kind of want to get the shape of this, and then we're going to rescale it, and we're going to do everything again from the side angle perspective over there, and then we could probably, well, we're going to do the windows and the door, and then we'll go back to the front. I'm going to make I'm just going to make the door a texture, I think. I don't know. Let's see what this guy's model looks like. Looks like he doesn't even actually have a door on this. I don't know if this is a completed model or not, though. Is that a door there? It's hard to tell from this angle. There it is from a different angle. Let's take a look at it bigger. Let's see. Yeah, see, he's got rails on it. He's got steps. This is pretty nice. Especially for something that's on Minecraft, right? I mean, look at that train. That looks like a handle, so he does at least have the door as part of his model. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. So before I make the door, I'm going to, well, you know what? I don't think I really need to. What I was gonna do was make the door after I took the mirror off, but I don't think I really need to do that. Now, this one's going to be kind of tricky to get that window. Maybe I should have started with the windows. Maybe I shouldn't have round cut. So many different techniques you can use to do the same thing. I'm thinking maybe I should have done a subdivide. Let's see. In the picture, this little section here is actually a lot smaller. Right? That little extrusion there. So if I bring this back up. Whoops, wrong one. You can see what I'm looking at. Now that's going to be right on top line with the window. And that's more or less what we want to do, because otherwise we're going to get some really nasty cuts when we do this next step. So what I'm going to do is I want to select just this panel, right? Now if I come over here and subdivide, I want to get the back one too, because I'm assuming that they're exactly the same on the front and the back. So I'm going to C to make sure I've got those selected and only those. Okay, and now because we've got these selected, I'm going to hit C again and deselect them. Now I want to make sure I don't have anything else selected, which it looks okay. And we were on the front, right? So now, should I do an extrusion? Or should I subdivide? Let's see what a subdivide looks like. See, if I go with a subdivide, I've got to add so many vertices, and that's going to add too many polys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this and then scale the size of this down. Now hopefully that didn't, it did, it scaled the Y. So we're going to Shift Z and come back, or Control Z rather. Okay, make sure we're all the way back and that everything we've just done is undone. We're going to extrude it again with the E button, and now we're going to hit S to scale and then hold Shift and press Y, and that's going to prevent us from scaling on the Y axis. And now I'm going to get it where I want it. I'm just going to move the window roughly where I want it to be. And now I'm going to come in here and just tweak it a little bit. So I'm going to go one side and then the other side. Now these edges are kind of round. So how much detail do we want to put into these windows realistically is the question. I mean, I could make a model just for this and then just kind of join it on there, and I could model windshield wipers and, you know, add as much detail to this train as necessary to make it look actually like a train. But that's not quite Minecraft, right? So now you can see we've got our little area here. That looks okay. I might have to touch up this corner right there. You can see I went or is that okay? The door is going to be there. Let's take a look again through the wireframe. Right. That's not what the front of the train looks like. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to select the faces. Now, this might not be the best way to do it. I'm going to experiment a little bit. Like I said, I'm not really a professional. I'm just trying to spread some interest in the field here. Press X and I'm going to delete the faces. Or actually, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to select this one to select the edges. I'm going to delete these edges. Okay, now I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to select the vertices. And I'm going to fill these vertices in by selecting all of them with a right click and holding shift to select multiples, just like you're familiar with using your desktop probably. And we're going to make a simple subdivide on this edge only by selecting two vertices, holding shift, right clicking again. We're going to subdivide once, subdivide twice. Now that's created 3 subdivisions, so we're going to get rid of that one because I know that there's a way to choose the amount of subdivisions you want to do, I think, but I don't remember what that is. So we're going to delete the vertice. We're going to select here. Oh, we've added a lot of vertices in here. If I hit F here, what does that look like? Exactly like we want it to. Now, we gotta come up to the top. And what we want to do is just fill these in. That's already brought in that way. Alright, so we're just going to select these 3. We're going to fill. Select these 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Press F to fill. And there we go. Now, we have exactly the shape we want. You can't tell that that window's there because the mesh is still flat. And we haven't brought in the inside yet. Oh, I should have done that on the inside as well. Okay, we're gonna undo all of this for a minute. Sorry about this, guys. We're going to come way back. Well, that's as far as it goes. So we're going to do it the hard way. We're going to redo everything. File. I know that there's a redo somewhere. Well, maybe it's under options. No. Alright, well. Yeah, get what you pay for, right? I'm doing this for free. Haha. Anyway. I'm just gonna go back to the subdivide. Once, twice, select, delete, vertices, fill, 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 fill. Alright, I hope that wasn't too much. Shouldn't be. This is pretty simple stuff. Anyway, so that's what we want. And I'll show you guys a different trick, actually, because what we're going to do now, before I forget, hold down the Alt button, and that will let us select entire edge loops. kind of like a quick select that line type thing. Go with that one, go with that one. Just hold down the Alt button. Now I'm going to hold down the Alt button and press Shift, and we're going to select all of these horizontal lines, except those ones. We're going to deselect those in a minute, and just make sure that we've got the whole top of the train picked. And come back over here, deselect these ones. I guess we could have just used the paint select to get all of those, but we don't want to select this edge. We're going to go with just the interior edge that we extruded from about 20 minutes ago. Alright. Now, coming down here, we're going to extrude again, and we're going to bring this down. Now you can see that this makes the cube hollow. That looks pretty good. Now, we're starting to get somewhere, sort of. Okay. So, what we're going to do is select the face. We're going to press X. We're going to delete that face. Actually, we're going to undo that. We're going to first Shift and D to duplicate that face. And I'm going to just grab this green arrow to move it on the Y-axis and pull that out. I'm going to extrude this and just make a cube out of that. And now I'm going to right click on there. I'm going to press X and I'm going to delete that face. And now we're going to do something kind of cool. Alright, because this is the shape and the size we want, I'm going to take this. Alright, I'm going to press P to separate this from this. We're going to separate the selection from the main mesh. Now you can see that these are two objects. So now we're going to use another modifier. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of playing around because I don't know exactly which one we need to use, but now you can see that this fits right in there, right where we want it to go, right? So we're going to come over here and we're going to add a modifier, and we're going to add a Boolean modifier. We're going to take the Boolean modifier, and I think the one that we want is the intersect. So I'm going to move this in. Okay, that's right where we want it. Now we hit the object. Oh, before I forget, because this will be kind of complicated, we're going to name this shell. And we want to call this, what is it? RDC1-shell. That's going to be our naming convention for everything that we create in this environment now for this model. Okay, this is very important because when it goes to be loaded into the game, we need to have a solid naming convention to make the programmer's life a lot easier. Okay, now what we're going to do is, again, select our cube. Okay, and we're going to come back over here to the modifiers. We're going to take the Boolean and we're going to apply it to the shell. Now, we can't see through our windows because that intersect wasn't the right option. So what we're going to do is we're going to then change that to the difference. Now, I don't know if that's going to apply it to the train or to the thing. I always forget which ones these do. So I just slide this out and see we've cut that. That's the opposite effect of what we want. So we're just going to make sure we undid all of that. That's still there. One more time should do it. Nope. There, it's back. Okay. So we're going to try the union. We're going to apply that. Connect them. Why am I such a dummy sometimes? Intersect union difference. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually remove this modifier from here. We're going to select the shell. We're going to add that modifier here instead. So we're going with the Boolean, but this time selected from the shell. And this time we really want that intersect, I believe. So hit apply. This is giving me modifier disabled. What? Modifier? I can't. Oh, I gotta change the text on that. I need to make it pink. I made all of my. I customized my UV or interface. That seems to have done what we want. No, it hasn't. Why didn't it apply? Oh, because I didn't have an object selected. Okay, see, now that is definitely not what we want. So we want to go with the intersect connected. We want the union. We're going to apply. Applied modifier was not first. Results may not be as expected. I'm feeling really dumb right now. We want the difference. I don't know why I hit union. There. Now we have it. Psh. So many stupid things. You live and you learn, right? One thing at a time. If I did this every day, I'd probably be good at it. Anyway, so now we've got our windows. They're hardly what you would call point on, but again, it is Minecraft. I'm gonna have myself another cigarette real fast, and I'll be back in 5 minutes.